A lot of you guys have been asking me what is my most worn shoe? Like what do I wear on a daily basis? What do I wear most often? That's what this video is going to be about, and the thing that I pick, or the shoe that I wear often or most often, is probably going to surprise you. Some of you might downright hate it. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we are talking about my most worn shoe in my collection, even though I don't feel like it's a true collection because most of the stuff that I have is worn. I think collecting things, you got to keep it pristine, right? That's how I do it with my action figures. I buy one to open, I buy one to keep in the box.
And this is the Buzz Lightyear aisle. Back in 1995, short-sighted retailers did not order enough dolls to meet demand.
But before we talk about my most worn shoe, we do have a quick word from today's sponsor, and that just so happens to be Sense Apparel.
Previously on...
So just to reiterate, the shirts are available right now, 2 colors. The pre-orders end this Friday, May 24th. After that, we're gonna gather things up, start manufacturing, and then we will get them to your door within 4 to 6 weeks. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this Sense launch because I think it's awesome. It took a long time to create this. We've been working on this since last year, and it's to celebrate the X-Men animated series, which debuted way back in 1992. And obviously we have the resurgence with X-Men 97, which was awesome. But to get into my most worn pair of shoes, I actually bought a new pair just to showcase for the B-roll because my worn pairs were gross because I wear them a lot. It's not a Jordan, it's not a Nike, it's not even an Adidas, nor is it a Reebok. It's a pair of Vans.
Shut the front door.
And it's not just any pair of Vans, it's my favorite model that I think they've ever done, and it's called the New Skool. And this guy right here is actually based or built off of my previous favorite model from the brand, which happens to be the Vans Old Skool. And the reason why I like this one better is because it's a beefcake of a sneaker, man. They took everything that I loved about that original Old Skool model, and then they enhanced it with lots of padding and a big fat tongue and wider laces and a crazy looking logo. Yeah! Anyways, like I was saying before, this shoe right here is kind of like a beefed up or enlarged or mutated, whatever it is that you want to call it, version of the Vans Old Skool. The cool thing about it is like it's a mixture between both versions of the Old Skool. So we've got the more modern version where if you were to look at the toe cap and it's got this cool little like wavy humpy piece up here, that's pretty dope, right? But what they've done is they've added additional stitch lines. So one pays tribute to the modern or current version of the Old Skool, whereas the other cut line pays tribute to the Old Skool, which is more like the actual original shoe from way back in the day. And so I just like that they placed both of those like elements into the sneaker. It's kind of a cool little hybrid. The rest of the shoe really does look just like a Vans Old Skool. Like the paneling is damn near the same. It's just, again, enhanced or beefed up, mutated, enlarged, exaggerated, whatever word you want to use. They kind of got these 80s fat style laces and stuff, even though this was a thing back in the mid 90s too for a very short time. But if you're a b-boy way back in the 80s and stuff, you're gonna see those laces and be like, hey, that's awesome. The tongue, I will say, is kind of too padded, but only because it's not sculpted. So that's the one thing where if I was to change anything, I would sculpt this padding right here, where it's, instead of it being just a straight pad of foam, I would have made this curl a little bit so it kind of sits and rests on your ankle perfectly. That's the only thing that I would change. Other than that, I really love these. This is a brown color in case you can't tell, but the pair that I wear the most is actually just this simple black-white version. My second most worn pair is the blue version, so it's kind of like a dark blue and a light blue with some white. And then I grabbed these because I wanted some fresh B-roll, that way I didn't like show you guys disgusting looking shoes and stuff like that, because I literally wear these every day. Now, what are they made out of? You got gum rubber on the bottom. This is a staple with Vans. Majority of their shoes look like this on the outsoles. Not all of them, but the majority. And they really haven't changed since their inception and stuff. That's one of the things that I think is so cool about Vans, is that they've been able to keep it true to their original roots for this long and be successful with it. And then the midsole, while it looks like a cup sole, it's actually not. It's a Volk sole. So if you don't know how Volk soles are made, and Volk is like a shortened word for vulcanized, go look it up on YouTube. There's some really cool videos of not just Vans, but other shoes being made with Volk soles, and it is fascinating. But either way, Volk soles are very durable. I don't know if I would consider them more durable than a cup sole, but they're very durable, so I don't usually ever have a problem with these. One of the cooler parts too is that they feel like they're made for still like a modern day skater, because they actually wrap up around the upper a little bit, so it's not just like a flat Volk sole. They were tweaked and enhanced for this pair, so they wrap up and lip just enough so that if you were to skate in something like this, you'd be able to get those flick tricks off no problem, and it wouldn't up your upper like instantly, because that's the only downside to a Vans shoe, is if you were to do any kind of flick tricks, it would chew up that suede damn near instantly. And speaking of the suede, that is what the entire upper is. Vans kind of vary, so they vary between suedes and canvas and stuff like that. Sometimes it's a mix of both. I think I've seen some newer colorways of these also with some leather, so they're starting to really like trickle out with like the different aspects or the different options, so that's cool. It's not anything premium or anything like that, but for the price, I like it a lot. I almost forgot about the cushion. There actually is none. It's a really weird setup, by the way. I was able to pull the insole out, not completely, but just enough so that we could see the layers. So underneath that insole is just the rubber bottom. So like you're literally walking on the floor. And before you say like, oh, that doesn't sound comfortable, for somebody like me, it actually is. Like back in the day, I wanted the most cushioned of everything, especially when I was a kid. When I was in high school and I was really like susceptible to marketing, I wanted to fly like Mike. I wanted to run faster, jump higher, you know what I mean? I wanted Zoom Air, I wanted Air Max, I wanted anything that was in there. I wanted it. I wanted Fila's 2A, I wanted Reebok's Hexalite, I wanted to pump shit up. Nowadays, my legs hurt, man. So, you know, like it's not good for you. Like all that cushion is just not great for you. It's not great for your feet. It's not great for foot health. And then when you fuck up your foot health, it fucks up the rest of your body. Like literally that's your foundation. So when you that up, it starts to move upwards, and that's not a good look. It'll throw your hips out of alignment, all kinds of weird shit. Now the insole itself is very interesting because it's multi-layered. It's kind of got the stroble attached to it, which I've never seen before, so that was kind of odd. And then on top of that, there's like a thin piece of what feels like rubber. And then on top of that, there's the actual insole or the foam sole. That foam top layer does feel like it's kind of memory foam-ish, even though it's not quite memory foam. And I will say that it bottoms out really quickly. One of the benefits of that though is that it does mold to your foot, like your actual foot shape. So if you've ever pulled out like an old insole, that's probably one of the cooler things about like cheap insoles, is just that you can see what your foot shape is actually like. Although like if you were to step in water and like step on the floor or whatever, like get a print, that's a more accurate depiction just because you're not housed inside of footwear like this. So like this is not like exactly the way that your foot's supposed to be shaped, because it's supposed to be free and splayed and all of that stuff. But either way, you can see where everything's aligned. One of the downsides though is that you can't really take that insole out and swap it out for anything else. So this is the comfort level of the shoe. Again, for somebody like me, I think that it's perfectly fine. I wear these off court all the time. I definitely would not want to play in something like this. Hell, I wouldn't even want to skate in something like this, but a lot of people like board feel nowadays. So for technical skaters, this is going to be like a solid option. For anybody that's doing like crazy ass jumps, you know, going off of stairs and shit like that, you might want something that's a little bit thicker. As far as sizing is concerned though, I'd go true to size. I think that that fits me best. If you're a wide footer, you might want to consider going up half a size, especially for this pair. Again, the Volk sole kind of like wraps up and around that upper just a little bit, so that could be uncomfortable for some, but for most people, true to size is going to be good. There's tons of padding in the back. It's definitely not like the current modern day old school where they're very thin all the way around, thin tongue, thin collar. This is more sculpted, it's more padded, it fits better on the foot, at least I think. And yeah, I just really love this. I think that this is like one hell of an upgrade of a shoe, especially of a shoe that I just love. It kind of reminds me of what New Balance did with the 574, where the 574 is cool. I never loved how they looked on me, and then they did that 574 Legacy, and it was like a weird like ultra version of the shoe, and it just looked awesome. So I really loved that version over the original. Same thing here. I love these more than the original old schools, and I'm typically not that guy. I typically love like the originals more, and that's not what I feel like with these. It's my favorite shoe, man. I wear these every day. But with all that being said, do we happen to have a question of the day?
Would you rather be shirtless, lost in the desert, or shoeless, afloat on an iceberg?
Man, that's a tough one. Because like if you're not shirtless, but if you're shoeless on an iceberg, like you're getting frostbite and you're probably losing some toes, if not your feet. And so you're dead. If you can't walk, you ain't getting out of there. You can't swim, none of that. I definitely don't want that. If you're shirtless, I guess you could bury yourself in sand for a little bit and wait till dark. Right? I mean, you gotta be resourceful here. And there is some shade there. If you're in just the sand dunes, then you're screwed, you know what I mean? But like...
You're lost in the desert. You
Right.
don't know what you have around you.
Right.
Well, if you're floating on an iceberg, you basically know what you're dealing with.
And you can't avoid getting your feet fucked up. That's the thing. So you can try to avoid getting sunburned so badly that your skin melts off of you. So I would very loosely choose that one.
You would choose...
Yeah, and most likely you would die faster out there because you'd get super dehydrated super quick. And so it'd just be like the best possible option, I think.
I'm going to argue for being shoeless on an iceberg.
Really? Okay, I need to hear this. Why?
Because I would probably sacrifice a piece of clothing to wrap around my feet.
Yeah, but then you could be dead from the cold.
I know, but at least just like, it's an easier way to go. Like your heart rate drops. Like you end up thinking you're too warm.
Yeah, you just go to sleep.
Yes, and you go to
Right.
sleep. Versus me, like I've had too many touches of, I don't know if it was heat stroke or heat exhaustion. I'm not good at remembering which is which, but I don't handle the heat well at all.
Oh, neither do I.
So, but mine's even worse than yours. So I'd be out there probably puking and diarrheaing and be blistered to a pulp. Like it would be awful.
God dang it. Now I don't know what, would I be allowed mittens? Because if I had some mittens, then I would use those as my shoes.
Yeah,
Then I would change my answer.
I'm not quite sure what amount of clothing you have when you end up on this iceberg, but
you
I
do
know
make
for a fact you have no
Yeah,
shoes.
you do make a good point. See, you act like you wouldn't survive things, but I think that you could. You know what I mean?
All of a sudden I become a genius.
Yeah, because I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I changed my mind. I think I'm going that way.
I mean, I'm most likely you would still probably get frostbite.
Are you allowed to like eat an iceberg? Like when it turns to ice, is it still
You're not
salty?
supposed to like have snow or anything because your body
Oh,
has
it messes
to.
your body temperature up.
Yeah, your body works too hard melting.
So you're dead either way.
Most likely. I'm just saying,
Okay.
I feel like it'll
Okay.
be a little more peaceful
Okay.
if
Yeah,
I go
okay.
the ice route.
I switch my answer. I'm going to iceberg because I'm going to take a nice cold nap. But with that being said, what would you choose?
Would you rather be stuck in the desert shirtless or on an iceberg shoeless?
Feel free to sound off below. Also, check out Sense Apparel. These shirts available for pre-order now. Limited time only. Once they're gone, they're gone. And I hope that you guys enjoy them because this is a very cool tee. At least I think so. How does it look?
I
Looks
like
cool?
it a lot.
I like it too. It's like very colorful. Oh, you guys know what all the letters are, right? Right?
There's definitely clues, so
On some of them.
on all of them,
Is there?
yes.
I suppose. Okay. Okay. If you wanted to take a stab at it anyways, go for it. And we will catch you guys on the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.